For weeks, he's said no to a royal commission into the Bondi terror attack, but late today, the Prime Minister changed his mind. Anthony Albanese says he's listened and learned, bowing to extraordinary pressure from victims' families, the Jewish community, politicians, business leaders and the legal fraternity. Tonight, we're joined by Shana Goodnick, whose father, Reuven Morrison, was killed during the shooting on December 14th, and Mike Kelly, one of the former Labor MPs who wrote a letter to the Prime Minister demanding a federal royal commission. Thank you both for joining us this evening. Shana, to you first. You fought hard for this, very hard indeed. Do you feel now that you've been heard?
We definitely do. We fought very hard. As we were saying over the last few days, we felt that Albanese had opened the door to a royal commission. We were waiting for him to walk through it. Today he has, and for that we are incredibly thankful and grateful.
The Prime Minister said at the press conference today that no school should need security guards outside, and that echoes your comments on A Current Affair. Does that give you confidence that he is indeed listening and listening well?
Definitely. Hearing that sentiment shared during the press conference, that as Jewish parents, that's one of our main concerns, was incredible.
What are you hoping for from the Royal Commission? And do you think that we can investigate and, at the same time, as the PM said, lower the temperature?
So we definitely do need to tread as carefully as possible. I'm no legal expert into how royal commissions are run, but ensuring that the correct voices are heard, the correct consultations are taking place, ensuring that we hear all the voices and that it is as transparent as possible, bring everything to light that needs to be brought.
Obviously, nothing can bring your father back, who was so heroic on that day, or any of the other victims. But what will this mean to you and other families, this Royal Commission?
Essentially, most importantly, it will mean that no Australian will need to endure the suffering that we have. Our lives have exploded beyond comprehension and shattered into a million pieces following this event. So it's incredibly important to us as families suffering through this to understand how this was able to occur here on Australian soil, and at the same time ensure that nothing can ever happen to this magnitude again.
Do you have that confidence in it? Do you think it can make that very real difference?
If it is done efficiently, independently, and as transparently as it should be done, it should.
It's been 25 days. I guess it feels like yesterday and a lifetime at the same time. How are you and how's your family doing?
I definitely share that sentiment. 25 days as yesterday and at the same time a lifetime ago. As we were marching forward, ensuring our voices were heard, it was a harrowing time at the same time managing our grief. So that's sort of coming through at this time as well, as our shoulders sag with relief at this time. The grief that's sort of been pushed back to the back burner for this time is just really coming in waves and rushing forward, while dealing with the emotions of gratitude and immense thanks to every Australian from the public and private sector that have come forward with their voices, that have come forward with their insurmountable support and love and warmth for us. So just grappling with that grief, but also immense gratitude to everyone that has shown us so much love at this time.
So social cohesion is the priority of the Prime Minister, and it sounds like you feel that we are maybe on that path?
So it'd be interesting to see what the exact definition of social cohesion will be when it is put forward, to be able to give further comment to that fact.
Okay, thank you very much for coming back on the show, and yes, take that time, grieve, look after your family, and we appreciate the fact that you've come back to speak to us today, Shana. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, former Labor Minister Mike Kelly has also been pushing the PM for a royal commission. Mr Kelly, it's the result that you were looking for, but how do you feel about what it took to get there?
Well, look, I congratulate the government on taking this step. They have listened. And I think it's really a tribute to our democracy and the health of our democracy. The citizens of this country understand that this is their government, and they voiced themselves in unison across so many different sectors. It was a privilege to be standing shoulder to shoulder with so many great Australians in this effort. And of course, the larger Australian community made their voices heard too. So I can only say this is a good example of how things should work. Government's listening and taking action. And this Royal Commission, I think, offers great promise. I've seen the terms of reference. There is good scope there across the breadth and depth of the issues we need to cover to unpack the ecosystem that creates an atrocity like Bondi. It will aid the healing process for families like Shayna's, and hopefully also hold up a mirror to Australia of the things we can all do to make our country a healthier society and democracy. And we're not all called upon to do what Ruben did and lose your life in the process, but sometimes we're called upon to stand up and call things out that happen right in front of us on buses or trains and the like. So there's much that can be achieved through a Royal Commission like this.
It's interesting to see there's a lot of people today following this announcement speaking about how much this commission is going to cost. And the Prime Minister spoke a lot about social cohesion. But given the anger and given the politicisation of the attack in the last 25 days, is that achievable, or are we just too split?
Look, I would hope now that there is a joining of hands across the political spectrum to support and make this work. And in the terms of reference, it didn't actually spell out this political sphere, but I think the scope is there for the Royal Commissioner to dive into that. We have to have a full Westminster system accounting of what happened too in relation to the political frameworks and interaction that relates to our national security. So, hopefully we can come together and just have an open and honest accounting. But there is also another level that we need to address here, which is things like the social media poisoning and manipulation that is infecting our country. And it's no accident that there are foreign actors who are seeking to undermine liberal democracies like ours. We're one of only 13% of the world's population living in a liberal democracy anymore. 71% of the world lives under autocracies. And that has been a rapidly deteriorating situation over the last 10 years. So hopefully we can learn what we need to reinforce all of our institutions, root out the processes of othering, whether it be against Jews or anybody else, and make sure that our kids are brought up to be good, healthy citizens who question and who understand the sources of information they need to check and verify and rely on.
Given the fact that this needs to be a healthy debate, that all the issues have to be aired and everybody needs to be heard from, is it possible to do all of that and lower the temperature at the same time?
Well, look, there's going to need to be the surfacing of the hate and those responsible for it. There's no question about that. And this is where the bright light needs to be shone, as people have been talking about it. And part of that is, as I referred to, the holding up of the mirror to our country. So if we're adjacent to one of these extremists and this hate conversation and preaching, and those who are trying to motivate and indoctrinate people to put them in the right state of mind, where they can look down the scope at a 10-year-old little girl running to her mother and shoot her dead, that's a responsibility for the whole community.
Former Labor Minister Mike Kelly, thank you very much.
Thank you.